Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shadowing in English. Today, we're going to dive into speaking numbers in English. In this video, we will explore various types of numbers. Here are the topics we will cover today. 1. Distinguishing similar numbers. People often get confused between numbers like 13 and 30, as well as 12 and 20. The stress on these words is different. 2. Expressing large numbers. Many people struggle with saying huge amounts. We can break this down for easier pronunciation. 3. Decimals in different contexts. The way we say decimals can change based on context, such as in prices or general numbers. 4. Ordinal numbers. Ordinal numbers indicate position or rank, and they have unique forms. 5. Fractions. When expressing fractions, we often say over or refer to parts. 6. Dates and years. Different conventions exist for articulating years, especially in historical contexts. First, we will discuss how to distinguish similar numbers. The primary challenge here is the stress on different syllables. Here is the examples: 12, 20. 12 is a single syllable word. Notice how there are no separate vowel sounds. We say it in one breath. Let's say it together: 12. Now, moving on to 20. This word has two syllables, twent and y. The y at the end is not a full syllable. It completes the pronunciation. We stress the first syllable. It sounds like 20. You could feel the emphasis on twen. Let's move on to 13. 30. 13 has two syllables, 13. We stress the second syllable. It sounds like 13. Let's practice saying this together: 13. Now, let's look at the word 30. This word also has two syllables, 30. We stress the first syllable. It sounds like 30. Let's try to say to again 30. Next, we'll explore more pairs of similar numbers. Each of these pairs has a similar structure, but the stress changes. 1440, 1550, 1660, 1770, 1880, 1990. Notice how the words with teen stress the second syllable, while the Thai words stress the first syllable. Let's practice saying these pairs together: 14, 40, 15, 50, 16, 60, 17, 70, 18, 80, 19, 90. Next, let's learn how to express large numbers. As the numbers grow larger, the naming conventions follow a systematic pattern. Here are some examples: 1, 1,000, 1 million, 1 billion, 1 trillion, 1 quadrillion, 1 quintillion, 1 sextillion, 1 septillion, 1 octillion, 1 nonillion, 1 decillion, 1 undecillion, 1 duodecillion, 1 tredecillion, 1 quadradecillion. Here's the pattern to remember. Every time you add 3 zeros, the name of the number changes. Let's practice this step by step. We start with 1,000. Now, let's add 3 more zeros. It becomes 1 million. Next, let's add 3 more zeros. It converts to 1 billion. Next, let's add 3 more zeros. It becomes 1 trillion. Remember, whenever you see a comma, think of it as a new term. Each set of 3 zeros represents a new scale in the number. Here is another example: 456 trillion, 789 billion, 123 million, 456,789. In finance and economics, various shorthand notations and terms are used to represent large numbers or specific concepts. Here are some common usages. K represents thousand, M represents million, B represents billion, YD represents yard or billion in financial contexts, T represents trillion. Now, let's talk about decimals. When discussing monetary values, you usually do not say point before the decimal part. Instead, you typically use the word and to separate the whole number from the decimal part. For example, financial transactions. $45.67. Median income, $54,321.50. For general numbers, you do use the word point to indicate the decimal. For example, measurements 25.4 centimeters. Statistics and data analysis 92.3. Standard deviation 1.56. Scientific notation 3.1, 4 times 10 to the power of 2. Cooking and recipes 1.5 cups of flour. Time calculations 2.5 hours. Ordinal numbers are essential for indicating rank or position in a sequence. First three numbers, which are first, second, third, have unique forms. From the fourth number onward, you generally add th to form ordinals, with some exceptions, for example 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Here's a clearer breakdown for ordinal numbers. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 30th, 40th, 50th, 100th, 1000th, 1,000,000th. Let's move on to fractions. Fractions have various common usages and expressions in English. A quarter. Example, I need a quarter of a dollar. A third. Example, add a third of a cup. A half. Example, half of the cake, 2/3. Example, 2/3 of a cup of sugar, 3/4. Example, 3/4 of a mile, an eighth. Example, 1/8 of a teaspoon. A tenth. Example, a tenth of the total. 3/8. Example, 3/8 of a cup. 5/6. Example, 5/6 of the data. 7/10. Example, rated 7/10 out of 10. Now, let's look at how to express dates and years. The most common way to say this year is 2026. Another way to say the year is 2026. The first way to say this date is 26th of January, 2026. This format is common in formal writing and is often used in British English. You can also say the 26th of January, 2026. This way emphasizes the full year and is often used in more formal situations. Different conventions exist for articulating years, especially in historical contexts. For example, 50 years have century. We're celebrating a half-century of progress. Century means 100 years. The event occurs every century. Millennium means 1,000 years. We are living in the third millennium. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content like this, and we'll see you next time.